Root Workers Round the Table with your favorite host, Sister Sonya and Papa O. Join us round the table.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Root Workers Round the Table. I'm your host, Papa O.
And I'm your other host, the hot mess, Sister Sonya. Look at this hair. Oh my God.
It's it's getting used to the new weather. You have to admit,
It's getting hot in here.
it's getting hot
It
in
is
there.
not getting hot in here.
It is 30,
No, I am freezing.
It is 37 degrees outside. 37.
It is.
30.
Welcome to winter, which is not officially winter. And our edition of Root Workers Around the Table, Samhain edition.
In bed.
In bed. Samhain in bed.
It was very cold for Samhain.
Oh, extremely. You know it's cold when Kennedy, the 10-year-old granddaughter, looks at her mommy and says, "Mom, we don't have to do this. I'm done. We can go home now. I'm cold. We don't have to trick or treat anymore."
Ooh, it went from about 80 degrees and then it dropped just all of a sudden. It is not this is no longer a short outfit festival.
No, it went from 80 to, oh shit, it's cold. Yeah.
Samhain, it was very much wrap yourself up in stuff and eat warm food. We did chili.
We did chili on Sunday. Last night I had to make a work trip, so it was just like fend for yourself, which equaled chili. But Ruben did not eat leftover chili last night. He ate 4-day-old Chinese food, and he lived to tell about it.
Oh.
I would not have eaten 4-day-old Chinese food.
My stuff. Like that was been wrong for months. I finally took some probiotic, and they're lighter than rain, but things are happening. Things are happening.
When you take a probiotic, does it change the consistency and the color of your poop? We're talking poop now. We're going to talk scary stories, but Eddie's poop is probably scary.
It's a scary story. Well, I'm going to tell you, once you turn 40, fiber becomes your friend. So that's where we start. If you're in your 40s, fiber is your friend. But Mom and I both have very bad stomach flora. We both have very like if we take an antibiotic for quite a long time. When I took the tuberculosis medicine, tuberculosis.
Ooh.
That's hey, the number one scariest place in Kentucky is Waverly.
Shut your mouth and get out of my brain. I was just thinking that.
But I was thinking there are so many other scary places in Kentucky,
There's a lot of scary places. And it don't even have to be scary. It could be like just local lore, like Floyd Collins at the Mammoth Cave National Park. It's said that if you go to the place of his death, on, I don't know, any particular, I don't know the particulars, but you could hear him scream and call out for help at
Floyd
Sand Cave.
Floyd Collins was trapped in Sand Cave. He was a famous
Explorer, yeah.
and but now supposedly he haunts there.
Yes. He cries out for help. You can hear him crying out for help.
I've got a question. I've been watching
Yes.
a lot of scary stuff. What would be the scariest thing to happen to you in a forest?
In a forest, if I were in a forest, it would be scary if A, I were left alone, B, I had no form of communication, and C, it was dark. I would be terrified. I would be absolutely horrified.
If there's any other person there, I think I'd be fine. Like if you were there, I'd be fine.
Me too. But if I was alone, forget it. Forget it. There's too many things to go bump in the night in the forest.
Beam coming out of nowhere, or help me, help me. And I'm like, no, 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 no. You get no help. You get no help.
I'd be like, no, heifer, you need to help me because I'm by myself.
Well, that's why everybody stays like, you know what got the what got the Blair Witch people is they always split up. Never, if there's two of you, you could probably kick Oogie Boogie's ass. So remember that. That is a fascinating fact I will share with you. It's
Never
not
split up.
Don't split up.
And you
No.
know what? You said a word that I always say, the Oogie Boogies. I always talk about the Oogie Boogies. I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, the Oogie Boogies are out. You better be careful. But I'm not the only person that knows about the Oogie Boogies. Well, you know what's scary? It's not really scary, but there's a lot of folklore and haunted tales around our region
That matters
in
what
Cave
Oogie Boogie
City.
is.
Huh?
There's one that I would like. It's not in Cave City, but it's close. But I have to fix something because every place has been telling it incorrectly. Okay? And that is the
Okay.
Bell Witch. I actually, for public history, for Murray, Kentucky, Murray State University, did a project on the Bell Witch with a few other people. And you know how they always blame Kate Batts?
Mm-hmm.
Kate Batts, who's supposedly the ghost, didn't die until way after John Bell died. Like it
Really?
was never her. Yeah, they did fight over land. She was zany because during the second Great Awakening, when this was going on.
Oh my
Ooh,
gosh. That was creepy.
did you do that?
No, Ruben did.
Okay, I was about to say if you didn't do that, you a danger girl.
I was like, no.
This house. What is your favorite horror movie? Do you have a favorite horror movie?
My favorite horror movie. I love the Freddy Krueger movies.
The Nightmare on Elm Street. Do you have
Yeah,
a
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Do you have a favorite one?
The first one.
Oh, see, no. For me, it's the third one. you like your
1,
first
2, Freddy's coming for you. Yeah. Careful. You got so
Three,
quiet suddenly.
4, better lock your door. The reason I like
5, 6,
that's gonna be
get
scared for you.
crucifix.
7, 8, better stay up late.
9,
10,
10,
never
never
sleep.
sleep again. You know, the one thing you don't want to talk about with Taylor?
What?
Slender Man. Slender Man.
Slender Man, I find interesting for anything. If Slender Man is a new time cryptid, then it was created by human thought.
It was. And that's what makes it even scarier.
Well, now
You know,
they have Siren Man. Let me finish the thing about Kate Batts.
okay, go ahead.
Kate Batts, one thing that she did do is there was uh, not a reunion, not a reservation. When they go outside of church and they have a, a it's when they go and play in the tents. Talking about. Do you not know
A
what I'm talking
recital?
about? When churches no, when churches go and their homecomings, revival. The word is revival.
Revival. Revival. Hallelujah.
So
Sorry, I had to get that in.
there was a revival by her house, and she went over to it, and because the guy was like shaking on the ground and acting crazy, she sat on his back and rode him like a horse.
What? We
Yeah,
don't call that acting crazy in the Pentecostal world. We call that he has been filled with the Spirit.
she did not believe he was. She believed he was filled with the horse, and
Something got a hold of him.
something got a hold on him.
Amen.
Now, my favorite horror movie is Poltergeist 2.
Really? What's so interesting about Poltergeist 2? Lord have mercy, you keep
It is the one
breaking
with
up.
Reverend Henry. Someone is like, "You're breaking up too." Could be the spirits.
Could be. Could be the
And
ghosty osties.
the ghosty Osties.
You
Is it
know
Bob?
who I find interesting that is from this area? Mary Landers.
Who's Mary Landers?
Mary Landers was one of the original barkeeps pre gosh, what was that era called? Prohibition?
Hmm.
Pre-prohibition. It is now the bar is now Landers Potts Bottom, which is actually closed. But Mary Landers and her husband ran a saloon in Cave City, Kentucky, and for some reason unknown to me, and I've even asked the historian, and he doesn't know. Mary is buried all alone on the corner of someone's private property in Cave City, right downtown near the police station. All alone. She got an above the ground tomb. No one else is buried there. It's not a cemetery. It's just Mary Landers all by herself. Could it be Satan? No, I'm just playing. But
And I'm going to tell you the reason I went to Landers for food one time.
mhm.
And at first, because they were an Irish pub. So at
Yes,
first
she was Irish. She was born in Ireland.
I was trying to order fish and chips, and they didn't have any. And so then I was like, okay, can I order frog legs? And they were out of them too. I was like, no, no, it's time to go.
Yeah. But I wonder why dear Mary is buried alone and why her family is not here.
It is
Some
the same.
say,
It is the same reason with Kate Batch. I believe. Is she a witch?
I'm not sure. I know she was a barkeep, and I know that she was a very strong, independent woman, and that her husband did work for the railroad. So why her family moved on without her, I don't know. Could it be that Mary was a witch?
I
Perhaps.
think it could be.
Perhaps.
To me, witches who witches back then are people who had their own mind and also their own money.
And she was a very, very strong, independent woman. And maybe she was excommunized from the Catholic Church. Maybe that's why she's buried alone.
We need we should go there with a ghost box.
We should.
I'm not
We
going
should.
tonight. I'm not freezing my homes
Oh,
off.
no. But we're going to go and we're going to talk to Mary and see what's up.
And the thing, every theater, every good theater has a ghost. They really had one.
Do you think that ghost box really work?
I'm going to tell you, electricity is something that ghosts can travel through. So oftentimes when you're cleansing your houses and putting wards up, remember that outlets, they can go through outlets and faucets, you know? So I have seen some really good work with one. I've seen some kind of work with them. It just, I believe that they have that ability. Um, I've also seen some other techniques used. You know, that's the thing. All these ghost hunters, the majority of them just, and you want to know, I got to tell you this. I saw on a TV show that they have now declared shadow people and hat men two different things,
Oh,
which I was like, it has to be. No one hears about a shadow person and then tragedy befalls them. No, what people hear is that there was a man with a hat, and next thing you know, 200 people died.
I told you, Taylor in the nursing home, the man with the hat always shows up. Taylor, once we were at another very haunted site, Jappa, the Jappa Church in Mammoth Cave National Park.
I've been
Taylor
there.
actually saw Spirit walk across the cemetery. She and her friend literally started screaming and crying and running. And I was like, what is wrong? She goes, a man just ran across the cemetery. They both saw him at the same time. It was not planned out. They both started screaming. They both started pointing, crying. Yeah, they said it looked like a shadow, but they saw a full apparition of a man jet across the cemetery.
In When I was young, back in New Jersey, when I was young, I was obsessed with the ghost of Hannah Caldwell. Okay. And Hannah Caldwell was the minister's wife at First Presbyterian Church. Like crazy. I was crazy fixated with her. Um, to, the minister actually played a joke on me where it was Halloween, and I was at Westminster Club was, and then there was a letter left. And at right before we were about to leave, all the lights in the whole church go out. Now, dark churches scare me. I don't know why. And all of a sudden, this ghostly figure goes and plays the piano. It's the minister's wife, but I didn't know the minister's wife, and it scared me. I still have brown stains in my soul. It
Gosh. Was it the minister's wife? The minister that scared you? Was it his wife?
was, yes, it was his wife. Now, the she does haunt where her grave was lifted up. So that's the courthouse or the church. Now, I believe her husband also still haunts. He uh
But it was him that scared you in the
James
first place, and then he
Caldwell
died?
was killed by a no, not him. He didn't die. He's still somewhere doing Presbyterian things. But the one from the colonial era, James Caldwell, he, I believe, and because people have seen him on near Boxwood Hall riding his horse because he was supposed to deliver something back there, and he never got to because he was killed. But I believe that there's still these ghosts that go around, and I've known people who've seen them. Ghosts scare me, yet intrigue me.
I wonder why they're so scary. Like, the dead can't harm you, but I'm terrified of seeing ghosts. Mm-mm. I don't like it at all.
You, what do you think poltergeists are?
I
Those
don't
are
think they're ghosts.
You don't think those are ghosts?
I don't think so. Do you?
I do. My philosophy, I had a philosophy that I wrote back in the day to Pagan magazine was imagine something that you love, but you could never touch it ever again. Wouldn't that make you go crazy? That's what
Yeah,
I
pretty much.
that's what I think happens with poltergeists. I think that there is something that they love that they can never touch again, and so they get angry. I think the ones that are like hotels and stuff. Imagine if somebody kept on going into your house, into your room, and stuff like that. Mad, or at least very angry.
I would like to go ghost hunting with you. We always plan it, but we never do it.
And I think we should have one of your daughters do the camera. But you can't do scary things. Don't don't intentionally be creepy. And I won't be intentionally creepy.
We went to Waverly Place, Ruben and I and the family, a couple of years ago.
How was it? I've never gone.
Um, I didn't really feel a lot of energy, to be honest with you. And I'm an energy person. If
Mhm.
there's spirit near, I'm gonna feel it. And so is Taylor. Um, Ruben said that when he walked down the hallway, they sent Ruben down the hallway, which is the third floor. They asked for volunteers, and Ruben volunteered, and they sent him down the hallway. And they're like, "You'll never make it all the way down the hallway because you'll see someone." So Reuben got about 3/4 of the way down the hallway and he come running back and he said, "Holy crap, there's a little boy in the room." And so he saw a little boy in one of the rooms. Could it be Timmy? Because Timmy is one of the famous little boys there that rolls the ball, down the hallway. Um, but Reuben now says
One
that
of my friends, Kaylin, played with that little boy.
Reuben says that it probably wasn't anything. It was probably just a figment of his imagination and his mind playing tricks on him. But I don't think so. The morgue in the Waverly Cemetery, I didn't feel anything. The body chute, I didn't feel anything. But let's face it, they're already dead at that point.
True.
So,
But I like some of the people who go into laying the things for the morgue.
Mm-hmm.
I could never do that.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm not gonna go lay there. Ugh.
To me, that I would not do that. Like,
It's,
I'm going to tell you, there have been people in my family who have kissed dead bodies. I will not kiss any dead body.
to me, laying in those body areas is just disrespectful to me, I think.
Well, back when my dad was alive, and in 2001, I had a cast on my foot. Same foot that I had a cast on recently. And Dad's like, "Hey Ed, you want me to cut it off? You just sit on the embalming table." No. I am
No.
not I am not sitting on an embalming table for you to cut something off my leg. I'd rather it stay on there forever.
You want to hear a secret?
What?
Sonya's scared of death. I'm scared. I
Who
don't
is
want to do it. I'm scared. I don't want to lay on the stuff. I don't want to touch the stuff. I don't want to be near the
it?
embalming table.
It
No.
does happen. I grew up that way though, but I never went into the embalming room when there was a body. Mm-mm. No, I like them when they're. I like them fully clothed and with makeup.
Eddie, I don't want to
Mm.
die.
Everybody dies.
I'm terrified.
It's not something.
Absolutely terrified.
What's the scariest thing then? What's the scariest thing?
Leaving.
Leaving what? Leaving everybody else?
Yes.
Because that's mine. That was mine too. I had this weird epiphany this year. When I was going, I was driving there, and we passed by this place that just sounds horrible. Because you go a few feet and it warns you about falling rocks. You go a few more feet and it talks about freezing rain. And just like everything keeps on getting worse, time and time and time. And I said, "Well, God, if you're gonna do it now. Make like a
You're
big."
talking about Lexington, aren't you?
Oh, this was not Lexington. This was Franklin.
Franklin, okay.
And I was just like, if it's gonna happen, no, you are correct, ma'am. This was Lexington because I stayed in Lexington for a while. You are correct. But I said, if you're gonna hit me, it's gonna hit me. And then I people like Julie and Kurt noticed I wasn't freaking out. And I said, well, so it sort of was a relief to me that I didn't have to then I didn't have to worry about other people. I just had to worry about myself.
Well, you're braver than me because I would never say bring it on.
It was.
Nope.
I was. I was just saying. I didn't say bring it on. It was more like, if this has to happen, could we? Could we have like? I want a good story that is related with it. I want like he was crushed by a falling boulder in a tornado. It was
Hey, there
Boulder.
you go.
It was Boulder NATO.
Boulder NATO. But Boulder NATO Avalanche Hurricane.
I always wanted to be on one of those movies.
Really? Oh my gosh. What kind of movie would I want to be on that
I don't
environment?
want to. I want to be one of the
You were like Papa O in the Boulder NATO.
Boulder NATO.
I would be Sonya in the Snow Hurricane.
Does snow not scare you?
No, not really.
I've seen some things where people get caught in it and either freeze to death or that also sounds horrible.
My cousin died during a blizzard. He was stranded on the side of the road and he left his vehicle and he died. So, yeah, I can't imagine.
And the woolly worms are talking about a lot of snow.
Oh, yes, they are. Number one thing to do if you're stranded in the snow, stay with your vehicle. Do not leave your vehicle. Somebody will eventually come along and find you.
But I have to tell you, last year we have not on our property, but down 31W, there
Mm-hmm.
is a big like pit sort of that has kudzu all in it. It last year when we had the bad snow and ice, there were like 4 cars in there. I cannot think how terrifying that is too. Falling down, sliding down, something like that.
Mm-hmm. We have the big S curve in our road, and along the curve now there's a pond off to the right. It used to be they just dug that pond recently. Before it was just all dry land, but it was in a big curve and it was nothing to see cars like off the road in that curve right there. But now it's a pond. So I told Ruben, I was like, oh my gosh, what ice snow, what if they slide off into that pond? Nobody would ever see them until like springtime. It's crazy.
We would go out and look for them.
What if we
Especially,
didn't know they were missing?
I think during times like that of bad storms or of bad storms or bad weather, I think everybody should make sure that everybody's okay.
Mm-hmm. I
You
think
know,
so too. Is your loved one missing?
it's
Check
true.
the pond by Sonia's house.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, for my like when there's a big storm, I always call mom to see if she's okay.
Do you ever get these premonitions like you need to call everybody and make sure they're okay?
Me, no. To you,
Absolutely.
to me, is like, okay, if I see that Sonya, Allie, Patty are online and are posting stuff, I'm not gonna be like, "Are you okay?" Or are you trapped somewhere and you're trying to tell us where? What's going on?
You know me though. I just get the feeling and I have to call people and make sure they're okay. And then I'll call you and I'm like, Eddie, are you okay? And you'll be like, yes, I'm okay. Am I not supposed to be? What's going on? What are you
What's
feeling,
going
Sonya?
on? What are you trying to tell
What's going on? What are you feeling? Do you have a premonition, Sonya? Please don't tell me. No, do tell me. That's
me? Is like, with, are you okay? Should I not be? Is there is something going on? What's happening here?
when it comes to me, you're always like that. You're like, why is she asking if I'm okay? Did you have
Now,
a dream?
oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you. 2001, I had a dialysis nurse have a premonition that if I ever wore a black hat to dialysis, that I would have a grand mal seizure. Have I ever worn
Wear a
a black
black
hat?
hat to dialysis?
Never.
Never.
That is, to me, that's playing with fate rather than talking to God. That's, you know,
Mm.
I I am this close to being out of dialysis. You know, this close,
That close.
that close
Don't
to me.
mess with it. Don't mess with it. You know, you ever watch what is that movie? Matilda, or it's where the nun has all the little girls and she wakes up in the middle of the night and she's like, something's not right.
Is
Was
that
that movie?
Madeline?
Madeline. Yes, Madeline. So I'm like the nun in that movie. I will be sound asleep and then sit straight up. Something is not right. And I end up calling Taylor and Allie and Ruben or whoever. And I'll be like, are you guys okay? Are you sure? And then sometimes everything is fine, but at other times something's not quite right and something had happened. I don't like it. It's
That's
just what
not
I
me.
do.
That's not me.
Mm-mm.
I'm more the Mary Poppins. Let's all have some cough syrup and and wait this out. There's only been two times when I thought I waited too long. But I'm gonna tell you, if you ever get that weird feeling, believe it.
True story. I was sleeping one night and I had a dream rather a premonition. And during the time while I was asleep, I actually heard Allie, Allie's an asthmatic. I actually heard Allie in the hallway speaking, not speaking. Her dad, Ruben, was with her, and she was having an asthma attack. And I could literally hear the child not being able to breathe. And Ruben's like, it's okay. You're going to be fine. We're going to wake your mom. It'll be okay. And I literally heard Allie having difficulties breathing. I immediately woke up. Bam, woke up. Allie had spent the night at her friend's house. The second I woke up, the phone was ringing. I picked up the phone. It was Allie's friend. She said, Miss Sonya, you have got to come and get Allie. She cannot talk. She's having difficulties breathing. She's having an asthma attack. Yep, I heard it. I felt it. I heard Ruben talking about it. I woke up. Phone rang. Allie's having an asthma attack at her
Did you
friend's house.
did you go get her?
Ruben got her and made it to the hospital before I could get dressed and get there. Ruben was like, "Bam, I'm on it." He was already awake, so he was on it. And she was this close to being intubated. Thank God Maddie called and said Allie can't talk. But I dreamed that. Like
Hmm?
I dreamed it.
Wow.
Yep, those are my premonitions. And one time an ex-boyfriend and I were driving. So strange. We were driving past the cemetery where his uncle would be buried. And suddenly I wasn't in the car. Suddenly I was on his porch. His sister walked outside. She told him that his uncle died. Bam, I'm back in the car. We drive to his house. His sister walks out on the porch and she tells him that his uncle had just passed away. Yep.
Crazy.
I don't like it when it happens, but it happens.
My mom had an incident like that where she knew somebody was dead before they were.
My mom does that. Yep. I don't like things like that, but it's a gift.
And you have to take it, Taylor. You can't say, no, I don't want it. That was the note
Yep.
to Taylor.
Yeah, you can't be a Taylor. Taylor's like, no, I don't want it. This is supposed to be, we're supposed to have a podcast about spooky things. We're kind of having a podcast about spooky things.
Pretty much spooky things.
Very spooky things. Did you do any celebrating of Samhain this year?
I did some little stuff, I did some writing. I did a mummer's dinner where you don't talk. Then I also lit luminaries in the windows for the ghosts to find me, for the ancestors to come find
Cool.
me. And then we put out food for the ancestors.
Cool. Did you have family over for the murmurs dinner?
No.
Nope.
And we watched Hocus Pocus.
Cool. I was about to say, if you had family and friends over and you didn't invite me, I was going to be like, ha! Yeah, you didn't invite me.
As I said a few messages ago, actually I think it was last week, that the closest I could get something organized was middle November. And
That's right. We're having the Friendsgiving.
Yeah. That was the closest I could, because honestly, I'm really trying to restart myself. I don't know. It's been a long 4 or 5 years.
The BG Witches are having a Samhain ceremony at Mammoth Cave this weekend.
Really? Are you going?
Yeah. I have a hair appointment, so I'm not sure.
I'm not. I know I have something this weekend. I just don't know what.
The BG Witches meetup.
I am not. If you go, I'll go.
Okay.
But I really think I have a plan. Like somebody's planning something.
I don't know. Let me fall asleep and then I'll wake up and tell you if you do or you don't.
Gross.
It'll all come to me. The other night, I haven't shared this with many people, but I dreamed that Everett was a zombie. And then
Why?
he bit his papa. He bit his papa, and his papa was like eating rabbits so that he wouldn't have to eat people. And I thought, oh my God, no. And then we all turned to zombies.
No. I there's a game called Zombie versus Humans, and it's done with a Nerf. And I honestly think that I could, me and a team I think we could make it through it. It's just one weekend. And that, and
I think we'd be okay.
most of the time, the zombies win. Because as a player loses or is taken by a zombie, they join the zombie side.
How are the zombies winning if they're so slow?
Not all of them are slow. Remember World War Z where they're climbing up Israel? Mm-mm. No,
All this stuff going on with Israel, and we're talking about zombies and World War III in Israel. Ugh, scary stuff.
it is scary. I think war is probably one of the worst things invented by man.
War is so unnecessary. Take it from someone who's been there. It's unnecessary.
I don't even the people who are fighting the war are not the people who are responsible for the war.
No, of course not. But I don't know.
There was another person on TikTok and Pagan, and he was commenting how stupid um, American people are that they will fight for their country. And I got extremely offended by that. You know, I don't know, there is something very much about fighting for one's home, you know. And even though I never did it, I I I took the historic route, and I think those people should be really honored and have the best friggin' insurance that money could buy.
Thank you. Why is he even here if he doesn't feel that way?
One, I think he's young, and I think that
He's a
just
moron.
true, just because just because you have the right to take things for granted doesn't mean that you should take things for granted.
You know what though? He's lucky to be in America where he has the right to say that.
He has the right to say that.
Yeah,
And
he's a spoiled little asshole, is what it is. Say that shit in Iraq and see what happens to you.
we'll see, it's a totally different thing when you're put in there, you know? It uh, we're talking about ghosts being scary,
Hmm.
not being able to see a gunman. I think that's kind of scary that there's bombs and things going off around you. That I could go out and find a ghost better than I would go ever want to. Oh, than ever deal with war.
He's such a spoiled little ass. Can we call
Put
him
a,
out?
put a corn
Call him
smell.
out. I want to know who he is. I want to get on his face on his little TikTok and say, "Oh, you spoiled little brat, you."
I'll have to get it for you. I don't. It's green. That's all I know. But I don't know.
What a
A lot,
brat.
a lot of people take the spoiled way out rather than trying to
Oh
take
yeah.
the help people way out.
Mm-hmm. Americans are super spoiled.
I have a question talking about spoiled. When you used to go trick or treating, what was your favorite thing to get?
My favorite candy.
Yep,
Well, you remember I'm old, so trick or treating in the '70s. My favorite candy was candy corn.
candy corn is delicious, and
Yes, it is.
whoever knocks it is a butthole
Yep.
because and it's especially good if you get the pumpkins
Oh
and you
yes.
eat them with peanut butter.
And the little okay, so the pumpkins with the dark brown tipped candy corn. The candy
Uh,
corns that have the dark brown tips on the end,
uh,
the best. And I like the little clear packet. that you would get from trick-or-treating that had the pumpkins and the candy corn in it? Yes, my favorite.
Mine were, honestly, they were whatever came in the little boxes. Like sometimes it came Whoppers, sometimes it was Junior Mints, sometimes it was Raisinets.
Oh, the little boxes, the little bitty
Yeah.
ones. Yeah.
And I never mind. I never mind. I never. I never minded. Minded, I think is the correct word. But I never minded getting a little box of raisins.
Oh, I used to get the raisins at Halloween. No, no, thank you. And
My great aunt told me,
caramel. Did you ever get the homemade treats? Like we get the homemade popcorn balls.
no, people were already trying to poison my generation, which had
Oh,
never happened. That's fake too.
in the
There's
70s, we used to get caramel apples and popcorn balls.
like I'm wondering there is a guy on in Glasgow, and he is notorious for doing the craziest like haunted houses and stuff. I'm wondering what does he serve? And it's a doctor. I'm wondering what does he serve?
Oh, Dr. Lessenberry?
Is that who it is? Like,
Yes.
does he have homemade goods?
I don't know. I don't know. But he does a haunted house every year. So do the Slaytons, and they do such a great job.
I will put up on our Patreon. I took a small video of this house right near the old folks home, the state home.
Oh,
Not the old state home, but the new state home.
uh-huh.
And it was all done in Victorian like ghosts.
Yes, that's right down the road from Allie's house
Yes.
with the
It
skeletons and they had the bridal party. I love it. It's so
I
cute.
loved it. I took a video of it. Just I was
Each
so
year
much,
it's different. Each year it's different.
and I love that for those people who are seeing us from outside the South, a lot of people are very scared about Halloween. But I love that in this town, there's a bunch of crazy doctors and stuff like that who put it out, really go out for the holiday.
You know, the funeral home had a trunk or treat this year. A.F. Crow and Son.
Do they have good candy?
I'm not sure. I didn't go. I'm like, I ain't going to a trick or treat at the funeral home. Not that the dead would mind. I'm sure that the dead, if they were living, they would be like, go to the trunk or treat. But no. Allie and Kennedy went. I heard it was pretty decent. Um,
This year, 2023, more generic candy was given out than name brand candy.
really
Yep. And also, this year was more homemade costumes than bought costumes.
good to go. Kennedy had a homemade costume, Janis Joplin, and Everett was Jimi Hendrix.
Uh,
It was so cute. And comparing candy from when I was a kid until candy now, kid Sonya definitely loved candy corn. Adult Sonya loves the sour apple caramel lollipops.
those are very good.
Delicious, my favorite.
And they only usually come out around this time.
Yep. Oh, and Snickers bars, but the caramel apple lollipops is still my favorite.
It is. You get, and you could, do you know they have the caramel apple filled Werthers?
I forgot
They'll work,
about those.
they'll work in a pinch. But if you're wanting the real, because the suckers are real good.
Oh yeah, my favorite. Oh, and the blueberry vanilla lifesavers lollipops. Yes.
I've never
The
heard of them.
swirls, the lifesaver swirl lollipops. You got the banana strawberry, you had the blueberry, strawberry, orange vanilla cream, Lifesavers lollipops.
I
Really?
just
You
remember.
didn't know about that?
I remember the cream savers from Lifesavers.
Oh, they had those in lollipops. What was your favorite thing to dress up as at Halloween?
you, you, you. I was a lady. That was one of my favorite. Is that
Girl,
oh,
girl.
you know who dressed me up?
Your mommy?
My grandma.
Oh, how cute. Little did she know. Uh,
Oh, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Grandma Binky knew.
yeah.
Grandma, we used to have. Grandma Binky had all these old hats, and we used to do a catwalk with all the hats. And every time I went by, I got to see myself in the mirror. She knew. I I love hats, hats for working women.
When I was young, there were six of us. And so my dad was a sharecropper. So Halloweens were just something that Halloween costumes were something we just couldn't afford. So I remember going home and putting on an adult t-shirt and like either I would stuff a pillow underneath it to become a fat man or stuff a pillow underneath it to become a pregnant woman. And I would just like take my mom's makeup and literally just paint my face, God knows what, and tease my hair out. And that was our Halloween costumes.
Not too different from mine.
Nope.
We we never had we never had bought costumes. Ours were always
Sometimes
made.
I would get like the from the country store, we would get like the plastic mask, but I would never get the mask and the costume combo. Never.
I got the one year for ancestors. There was an old sea captain out of Montauk who they called Captain Crash. Okay. And I got to go as him one time, and I enjoyed that. I had a scraggly beard, not like this well coiffed one, but one of those faux fur beards. And I had my dad's hat on, and I had a fishing net. I had a fake cigarette because that was okay back then.
You know what I found super cute? We went to a trunk or treat and there was a little boy in front of us and he was with I think probably his grandmother and all he had on was toy a little toy version of binoculars. And that's it. He was just himself with binoculars. And he turned around and all these kids had all these elaborate costumes. And he turned around and looked at me and he goes, "Do you want to?" And he didn't know me, but he was so cute. He goes, "Do you want to know what I am for Halloween?" I was like, "Yeah, what are you?" "A bird watcher." Isn't that cute? And he had, I mean, God bless his grandmother, you know. And then he had this unique little imagination, and I thought, you know what, you go. That he did. You could definitely tell that they didn't have a lot, but they made the most of what they had. And
Well,
he
I
was a
think
bird watcher with his little pair of binoculars, and that was the only thing he had. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just love him.
you
He
know
made the best of the situation, you know.
I did not get a picture of my nephew from Halloween.
Oh no.
Somebody left me out of the loop. Ugh, I will have to track it down. I I I love little kids and their costumes. I think, and because they take it very seriously too.
Uh-huh. I'm working and talking at the same time.
What are you doing?
Offering someone insurance benefits.
Nice. That's a that's good for Day of the Dead,
Mm-hmm.
which is coming up November 4th, Day of the Dead. It's also Jai Day. It's the Polish Day of the Dead.
Oh yeah, is that what that is? I
Well, there's
remember you talked about that last year.
oh yeah, it's the Polish Day of the Dead, where
It's a dead man's party. Yep.
who could ask for more? Everybody welcome, leave your
Your
body.
body at the door. Leave your body at the door. I had to
Uh,
rent. I love that song though.
I loved it. I learned it from a movie with Rodney Dangerfield.
Me too. What was that movie? I forget.
It was um, Back to School or Back to
Yes.
College,
Um.
and
uh,
Iron Man was in that. I'm going to tell you,
Excuse me.
I think that nobody would guess it now, but one of my queer idols, I would say, was Robert Downey Jr. in the 80s with the
Is
hair
he
and everything
queer?
like that. No, like Prince. Prince is considered a queer icon, but he was never queer. I think I think Robert Downey Jr. was that way for me, especially in that movie.
Was there one movie where he actually did something for Coke? Do you remember that movie?
Uh-uh.
There was a movie when where a male prostituted himself out for Coke, and I thought it was Robert Downey Jr., but I can't remember.
Could have been in real life. He did have some of those crazy times
Perhaps. Oh, did you hear that Mathew Perry died?
a long time ago. At least didn't he die a long time ago?
No, Mathew Perry recently died, like this week, last week.
Oh no.
Yes, he died in the hot tub. Matthew Perry from Friends, Chandler Bing. Yep.
I was thinking of somebody totally different. Who was the one who was in 90210?
Gosh.
Like Dylan.
Dylan. He was I see him, but I can't
Was
remember his name.
dun 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 dun. Let's see.
Let's say go ahead and look him up.
I have to now. Luke Perry.
Luke Perry. Any
Luke,
relation to Matthew Perry? I don't know.
is Luke Perry and Matthew Perry related? No, they're not. They're not.
Huh.
But I now that's how I got confused because Matthew Perry died. Luke Perry died a while ago, and Matthew Perry just died.
Just died. Yep.
Was he having some issues? Wasn't he having some health issues or
He was
financial?
going through recovery, but I'm not sure.
Crazy.
Yep, it is crazy.
So,
Speaking of spooky stuff, are you voting this November?
uh, hello. Yes, I like that we have the ability to go to Caverna Hospital.
You can vote at Caverna Hospital?
No, I like the ability that if, like, one night I busted open my eyebrow,
Mhm.
and,
Oh,
and
I get what you're saying.
instead of going to TJ or the med center, which I would have been there all night, I went to Caverna and just got a few stitches in it. I, to me, um, Bevan was horrible, and Cameron sounds like a Bevan boy. So I am not. I don't. I do not feel uh, Daniel Cameron's. I am definitely voting for Sheer.
Andy.
Daddy Andy.
Yep.
Daddy. I am a
I
true
met
believer.
him. I met Andy Bashir a couple of weeks ago.
Where? Oh, I'm
Oh,
going grocery shopping and
the YMCA way. I mean, the YMCA. My friend Angela invited me to the YMCA, and Andy Bashir was there.
nice.
Yeah, I got to meet him. He's a really nice guy.
I'm gonna join the Y. I'm about to start going again. Gonna shed some of those extra scary pounds, the Halloween pounds.
Yeah.
Maybe just try to scare away some calories.
I'm just yawning away.
Is the bed getting the best of you?
It is. I'm just
So
gonna lay out in my bed and try not to have nightmares.
this has been a great Samhain. Thank you very much. And love one another, reach out to one another, and like Grandpa Sackwich always used to say,
Let's go visit Marylanders soon, but let's not be assholes.